Right, we're here to interview the writer and director of Little Love. If you would be so kind as to introduce yourselves to us, please.
Yeah, Michelle Devadas, writer.
And I'm Dave Watts, and I'm the director.
Very nice to meet you both, and thank you so much for coming here and talking to us about the film. So, Little Love, what's it all about?
It's a story, it's a redemptive piece, isn't it? It's a story about an army veteran who is damaged by the horrors of war, suffering from PTSD, returns home after losing his job to find an asylum seeker from the region that he worked in, moving in next door. He starts to spiral. He's got a pregnant girlfriend, they've got no money, and it sounds very depressing, but it is actually quite an uplifting piece.
That's great, and that's exactly what it's about. It is uplifting. The ending is very uplifting, and you come away feeling really, really good about the fact that these two people have actually connected. So, how long did it take you to write the script? Where did the concept come from?
I joined Brentwood Movie Makers when I was pregnant, so probably June time, a couple of years ago, and I'd already written a short film with Illusions of Grandeur, and we had it was a 70s period horror. We don't really have the budget for that, so I looked at the cast, the actors that we knew and things like that, and I kind of developed it from there. I read a Facebook piece on a lady who was pregnant who was smelling her neighbour's amazing food, and in the end she just went and knocked on her door and asked for some. And that was where I got the idea for the neighbour feeding the pregnant lady.
So the original script to the finished version, did they differ in length?
Yeah, we sliced it right down, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, I really struggled to write shorts.
Yeah. And the length of Little Love is?
It's
About 16 minutes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did Dave come on board? So you've got your script, you're happy with it, it's a little longer than the finished version we have seen. When did Dave come on board?
I think I was pretty well on. I mean, once the script was almost complete, I think I was on board. Then I was already a member of the Brentwood Movie Makers team, and in fact I directed a previous short film for them, which Michelle had been involved with to a degree. And so she asked me if I'd like to direct this as well. So I was more than happy to jump on board.
Fantastic. And you've got the script. As director, not sure your relationship with Michelle, but did you go, I need to change some of these bits, or did you see the script and go, you know what, this is fantastic?
I thought it was pretty fantastic from the off, to be honest. I remember saying to Michelle that I just hoped that I could do justice to what I thought was a beautiful script, and I think we did. We talked about it a little bit, but there were minor adjustments, but they were pretty minor. What you see is pretty well a relatively early draft, I think.
It was mainly bits of dialogue, and we had a scene in the middle with some. What we couldn't decide on was whether people would think that Tony's character Colin had put the graffiti on the asylum seeker's door, or if somebody else had done it. Well, we actually filmed a separate scene with some teenagers doing it, but we decided that it wouldn't take too long and wouldn't really matter because it wouldn't change the outcome of the story whether people thought he did it or not.
No,
it doesn't
no,
matter.
no. And you're absolutely right. I wasn't sure when I watched it, but the ending makes it absolutely clear what the case is. So you've just mentioned one of the actors and who played one of the characters. How did you cast this? Can you tell us the process of that?
I think I met Tony, I believe, when I started writing it, and he was an actor with Brentwood Movie Makers at the time, and he's Colin in terms physically. He's Colin, so that was a really easy cast. Kerry Scarf, who plays Stacey, is one of my friends. There was a bit of a concern that we thought maybe she'd be too young looking. She is in her late 20s. We thought that she might look quite young, but actually seeing them together, it just worked. And Borja is my friend. We attended the Met Film School together, writing, did a screenwriting course there. So he's writer, playwright, actor, a bit of everything, very talented. So that was the casting.
And we cast ourselves in very minor roles.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
We knew
I was in the shop.
Cheap.
Yeah.
You were the voice on the phone, you were
I
in the
was.
shop, you were with the baby in the park, and I was the
You were
foreman.
the phone voice.
Yeah, yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And that was crystal clear. That was really nice, actually.
Thank you.
You picked it all up really well. So you've got this script. You've cast your main players, probably all of everybody. Did you storyboard? Can you talk through the process of setting yourself up ready for the shoot?
I'm not a great lover of storyboarding
Okay.
personally, but we did go through it in a great deal of detail. I think Michelle pretty well had it clear in her head what she wanted to film. And I remember at one point saying I thought she was quite capable of filming it herself, but she didn't want to do that. She wanted to bring me on board. She knew I'd got a little bit of experience in the field. And although I was brought on as a director for hire, she wasn't really paying me, so it was a pretty cheap option for her as well. And I think we've learned through this and through other things we've done together as collaborations, just how hard it is to do something on your own. It does need a team of people behind this sort of
Yeah,
thing.
there's so much of it is project management. It's just there's so much goes in before and then after as well with kind of editing. It's just that's the lengthy process, aren't they?
We had meeting after meeting where we talked about not so much storyboarding as such. There was a little bit of that which we did, but we certainly knew exactly what we wanted, pretty well shot for shot, well before we started filming.
That's great. So how long was the shoot, and were there any kind of major problems on the shoot?
I had a baby, so that was difficult.
But we knew your baby was coming, and she arrived a few weeks before our
Yeah.
filming
I sat down a lot.
date.
Congratulations.
But thankfully, with Michelle being on set, largely as kind of the producer, that was, in terms of the filming days, that worked out pretty well. We had 3 very intensive days to do all the interiors, which we did in a flat up in
Halstead.
Halstead.
Yeah, it's my friend's flat. She
North
moved out for the
Essex.
weekend.
And although, as seen on screen, it's meant to be 2 flats, it was all filmed inside the one flat.
Yeah.
We just kept redressing the one property and just using adjacent door as the other flat. That was the main part, and we filmed
Yep.
that first. And then over the course of the next 6 or 8 weeks or so, we filmed the various exterior shots as and when cast were available and the rest of the team were available. And we filmed initially February last year. I think we finished by about Easter last year, part 1, 2. Pick up shots we did a little bit later. Overall, 5 days, something like that. I would say it took us.
And so the Brentwood Movie Makers, I have no idea how you fund your projects. Could you let us know how you raise the funds for the project?
Essentially self-funded. The Movie Makers has worked pretty well since its inception on a subscription basis, a relatively small subscription for all the members of the group. A lot of whom were involved in the production of this piece, being front of or behind the camera. I think we possibly chipped in a little bit of money ourselves. We didn't charge production for the various props, etc.
Yeah, we paid location.
We provided. We did pay a little bit towards the location, but effectively self-funded. And our budgets are tiny. Michelle mentioned a piece she had in mind, which was a 70s period house, which I think we were talking about burning down at one point. We realised that was not in our orbit at the moment.
Yeah, it cost
this one cost
£300.
Yeah,
£300 to make, and that was food really because people were, hungry.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's inspiration. That we wanted to hear that. That's inspiration for everybody out there.
Yeah,
who
you
go,
can do it on a
"I've got no
£300
money.
budget."
How can I make a film?
Does it matter?
Yeah. So just get a group of enthusiastic people around you.
Who have the equipment. I think that's the key.
Fantastic.
We didn't have to pay for that, so that was nice.
Brilliant. So, Brentwood filmmakers, movie makers, or individually, what's next?
Well, given the nature of the world at the moment, we're not quite sure what is next. Since Little Love, we've already completed 2 further shorts. We did one a little bit earlier this year called Revelation.
Finished filming just before lockdown.
Yeah.
Revelation.
Revelation, whereas Dave is the lead actor in that. I wrote and directed it.
Okay.
A bit of a change for both
Great.
of us, really. And then we have done a lockdown project, filmed entirely on Zoom.
Fantastic.
Which we came up with the original concept. Michelle again wrote the script. We kind of produced, directed that together. It's a little bit different in terms of the process because it's all done via Zoom, and we shot that 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, didn't we? So we've got those 2 going through edit now. What comes next after that depends to a degree on how quickly we feel it is to get back out there filming
it's funny
in the
times,
natural
isn't it?
environment, because it's a difficult thing to do at the moment, given the restrictions and given all the safety aspects.
And in regard to Brentwood Movie Makers, can I call you members? Is that the right term to use? Are you looking for new members?
We're always on the lookout for
Yes.
new people.
And if you have a website, how do we find you? Facebook?
Facebook. We've got a Facebook page. We've got Twitter, Brentwood we have an email address that people can contact us at, which is brentwoodmoviemakers@gmail.com, and we have a YouTube channel where most of our pieces, and very in due course Little Love as well, will be on that channel for people to watch. So yes, there's already a body of work out there for people to see, but we're always looking for new ideas, new people.
Fresh talent.
Indeed.
Fantastic. Well, on behalf of Romford Film Festival, thank you so much for submitting a really moving piece that has a lovely climax, and we hope to see you again. Please enter for next year.
We hope to.
Thank you very much. Thank you.